Welcome to Muslim Academy's podcast series, a collection of interviews with individuals living in Muslim countries or living as Muslims, striving to bridge the gap between the Western world and the Muslim world. In today's podcast, our hosts Caitlin and Chris interview Walaa, who shares her perspective as a Muslim woman during Egypt's current volatile political climate.
Okay, I'm Walaa Yusuf. I live in Egypt in Giza. Elections. Actually, in Egypt, we thought it's something new for us, something good, and a really perfect result for what we did, the revolution and so on. But after a while, we discovered that it was only a play, just like what happened yesterday in Egypt. What happened with Mubarak and his sons. It was the real results which we are facing now. We'll start with elections.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. The play started with, we'll give you, the military told us that they will give us fair elections, and whoever wanna be the president of Egypt should apply for that, and we'll agree on everyone. And step by step, they took everything, I think, until they are forcing us now to choose between the worst two ever in Egypt. One is only the flag of Islam, but he's not a real Muslim, and it's not good. Morsi, I think you read about him or something. Yeah. He was the bad doll of Islamic Brotherhood. Yeah. And the other bad one, which is Shafi, and Shafi is actually the close friend to Mubarak. So we are choosing between Mubarak and hell. So
and Shafiq was the prime minister, right?
Yeah, something like that. And he was in charge of the airport, Egypt lines. So he took it after Mubarak left. He was the prime minister after Mubarak left. But originally in Mubarak's system, he was a close friend to him and a family member, maybe you can say it. All news before 2010 can tell you that. So choosing between Shafi and Morsi, it's nothing to talk about. It's like choosing between going to hell by bus or by a plane. So nothing to choose.
This is the second round of elections, and I know a lot of Egyptians feel that these are the worst two candidates you could possibly have had. Why do you think then that these two gained the most votes in the first round?
Okay, it's totally back to the bad media and the to be frank with you, most of Egyptians not really educated or well known about policy and the political things. I'm sorry, but they only need to feel comfort, stability, and we need a president. When a normal girl walk on the street and facing thieves or guns or whatever, first thing she's gonna think about is stability and to feel safe in her own country. When someone like Shafi tell me so, I will totally agree on him. This is what he promised us. He will give us the security back in 24 hours. Normal guys or normal Egyptians will not think how he can do that in 24 hours, so he's the reason of doing this.
So you think that people aren't educated, so they're very willing to believe what they want to hear when the candidates say it?
No, they only take the outside image, not the deep image of the thing. When he tell me as a normal member of this society, I'm going to give you back the stability and security in your own country. So not most of them are going to think how he's going to do that. No, that's great. Let's do it. He will make us, he has very good looking and he's modern and more like European. So we need Egypt to be like that. We need a president like this. Just an image. But his personality or how he became like that on our souls, from our money, that's not most of people thinking about. No, only he will do that. Not how he's gonna do that. This is the first member, Shafi. But about Morsi, even Muslim Brotherhood didn't use him before. When they faced the problem with Khairat al-Shatir, I don't know if you know him or not.
Yes.
So they had to give us Morsi, who know nothing about politics, or he's a good doctor, he's a good engineer or whatever, but not a one to represent Egypt as a country nowadays at this situation. So I don't think both of them are even good for Egypt.
Now, do you know who you want to choose, even though you don't like either of the candidates?
If I have to choose between both of them, or if I can delete both of them and choose another one?
Well, both. First, let's say, who, between the two of them, who would you choose?
Okay. If we had Shafi, it's gonna be easy when he make a bad step to kick him out. So it's much easier than removing the Morsi one, because he is from a really strong system. Islamic Brotherhood is really strong. They was so tough and they survived in Mubarak regime, Mubarak system. They still alive here in Egypt for the 30 years. So whenever they catch the chair of being the president, we can never take it back from him.
And if you could choose your ideal candidate, who would that be?
I voted for Abu Futuh, but I think it wasn't a really good one now, according to what happened yesterday with Mubarak and so on. So if it's going to be repeated, I vote for Hamdin, for sure.
And earlier you said that, you need a more European-like president to bring Egypt, for how Egypt is now being more modern. What do you think that represents? What position do you see Egypt taking in the world now?
Now, Egypt for the whole world is just like, I don't know, maybe going down only. It's not something good. I'm a teacher for foreigners, and most of my students saying that our image is disappearing step by step. So we are not existing on the map now. We are only disappearing. So to have a president to make us like European shape, like you said, this is not my dream actually. I want it Islamic. I like it to be Islamic one. So I don't like being European or American or whatever. Most of Egyptians are Muslims, and most of them is thinking about, we did a lot of bad things which led us to this situation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is his punishment for us. So let's back to him and deal like doing the right thing. Even Christians with in Egypt, they are not a lot, but they had the best era ever when Muslims were in the government or in control of everything. So it's not only about being a Muslim or Christian.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
So this is Chris. When we're in America, I think when we hear the term Islamic government, we tend to have a certain idea of what that means, and it's probably not correct. I think we tend to think of Islamic government as something like Iran. When you say you want an Islamic government, can you kind of explain what that means?
Sure. Egypt, from the first day it exists, it was always moderated. Not like other Muslim countries, not like Saudi Arabia, not like Iran, for sure.
Can you describe a little bit about what happens there as well? Because I think for many of us, I myself, I'm not too sure about what you mean. Like, what happens in Saudi Arabia that's different than
Yeah,
Egypt?
in Saudi Arabia, they are only putting the rules of Quran, this is the holy book for Muslims, and applying its rules on poor people, like word by word, not thinking about the rules or applying it on all people. This is in Saudi Arabia. All women has to wear black jilbab and black niqab, if you know this thing which...
It's the veil that covers... Yeah, it's the veil that covers everything.
Whole face had to be covered, yeah. So... this is Saudi Arabia. For Iran, if you're a Muslim, if you're not a Muslim, if you're even Jewish, we take the holy book of the Quran and Bible, everything, and we mix it together to have really what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to do. It's not haram to show your face. I'm not showing my face. And if I saw any sheikh or any real Muslim, he will not punish me or something, because he know in Quran it's not haram to show my face and my hands. Wearing a good clothes, covered clothes.
So it seems strange to me that, well, not strange, but in Christianity there are many different interpretations of the Bible, and it sounds like that's the same case in Islam. There are many different interpretations of what is haram, and for people who don't know, haram is something that's against Islam and therefore forbidden. Like you said, that for you, showing your face is appropriate, but I know that for others perhaps that might not be appropriate. Can you expand upon where your interpretation comes from, and why yours is correct and why others might be incorrect?
Okay, we are not talking about who's correct or who's not correct. We are talking about Islam. I'm not talking about persons. So, Islam and the Quran, it's not said directly that you have to wear niqab to cover your whole body from your head to your legs. So, nothing is a direct order for us to wear it, except in some situations. If you are so beautiful, if you are so ugly, if there is bad situation outside and you have to protect yourself, there are some situations to have to wear niqab. But in general, no. Even in Hajj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us, even you are wearing niqab, you should take it off. If you are in Saudi Arabia in Hajj, it's something we do every year.
The pilgrimage.
Yes, exactly. So, some people are taking it from a side that you have to do it to go away from any possibilities. Okay? Bad possibilities or good possibilities. So, let's wear niqab. Let's make it haram not to wear niqab.
Well, we are
talking about the book, directly from the book, and Sunnah. Sunnah, which back to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the Sunnah. What the Sunnah is his actions.
Exactly.
Okay.
What he's doing and his wives doing? And his wives are our mothers. So, we are following their steps as we are in love with them only. We love their steps, we love what they do, especially Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Me as a woman, I'm following his wife's steps. At these days, at Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's days, they had to cover their faces to be known. She's totally covered, so all non-Muslims will know this is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wife. Okay? But after that, it became normal. Okay, Muslims are everywhere. If I'm wearing only hijab, so you will know I'm a Muslim. And no need for covering my face to know that I'm a Muslim. You know, this is about Sunnah.
Okay.
So, there is no big difference between Muslims in what's halal and what's haram. It's so clear. What is halal is so clear. What's haram is so clear. What's forbidden is so clear. What's available is so clear. So, people who are following the madhab, which is in English, I don't know. It's a must to wear niqab, not from book, Quran, not from Sunnah. They are only avoiding to do bad things in their lives.
Okay, so they want to be as close as possible to, okay. So
But
for the people who do niqab or hijab, they're trying to be as close as possible to what is, I guess, considered perfection.
Exactly.
Okay. And when you said that Muhammad Morsi of the Islamic Brotherhood, again, I think that in America there might be a certain perception of what is the Islamic Brotherhood. I certainly didn't know before I started taking Arabic lessons. Maybe you can explain a little bit about this party and its background, if you can, and then maybe why Muhammad Morsi is not considered a true Islamic candidate.
Mm-hmm. This brotherhood is a group of people made a party of applying the Islamic rules from Quran and Sunnah only, making their own, applying these rules in political, social, and economical life. They used the rules from Quran and Sunnah in their life in everything in their life, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us.
Is that called Sharia law? I may be
Shara Allah, yeah.
Shara
Allah,
okay.
yeah. Allah's rules.
Okay.
Yeah. So, after time, they became a really strong party. Not only a party, they became their own state inside Egypt and around the whole world also as well. So they are trying to apply this. They are following the right way, actually. It's something I believe in. But by time, they had some people are thinking only about the chair of being the president of Egypt. And this is not good. This is not Islamic. In Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, if there is a man looking for or searching for a political position, know directly he's not the good one for you. This is something so clear in Islamic rules. So, if you are dying to be the president of Egypt, so you're not good enough for me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told me so, and I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So the person who is very ambitious and wants to be the president, that's somebody who you don't want?
Yes.
Okay.
He has to be asked for that. I'm asking you, please become my president because I know that you are good enough for me and please, I need you now. It's a responsibility, not giving you a palace or something. No. I'm
Because
asking you for a huge responsibility.
more like a public service. Because I know that in America, at least, there are probably career politicians, people who were running for office from the time they were 2 years old and prepare their entire lives to become president. And I don't know how many, Caitlin, I don't know about you, but I don't know how many we would consider people that the people have really asked to become president. Maybe Colin Powell would have been one. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, I think it's very hard even if you have very good intentions, going into government. I think after a while the power gets to your head, and maybe you aren't working so much for the citizens anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, I also know that the Islamic Brotherhood, the Muslim Brotherhood, has been in parliament since the parliamentary elections. I forget when, probably last November.
Yeah, 70%. Now they are 70%.
Okay.
That's quite good. And this is also another reason to choose one out of them following the Islamic rules also, but not from the Islamic Brotherhood. So they are going to compete between both of them, the president and the parliament, to make it better for Egypt, to prove that they are much better than the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so right now you'll have the same party in parliament. If he wins, you'll have the same party in parliament as it is in the presidency. So you'll have an extremely powerful party, like you did under Hosni Mubarak. Not saying that it'll end up the same way.
So we are, yes, exactly, the same situation. So we are creating a new monster. So not good at all. But
not.
someone like Abu al-Futuh, he is following the Islamic rules also, and he was one of Islamic Brotherhood as well, but he went off the party after a while, and he has the system in his mind, but he mixed it with the Egyptian thoughts, and we like to be moderated. Most of Egyptians like to be easy in everything, like to make everything simple. That's how we like it. We don't like so complicated. We don't like. That's why actually also we don't like niqab. We don't like beards and everything.
Well, maybe you can, because I know we started talking about it before and we kind of went off into a different direction, but we started talking about what an Islamic government in Egypt might mean. Could you describe a little bit about how life would be different between the last 5 years and what a true Islamic government would mean for women? Because I think that this is perhaps a mistake, but I think that when Americans tend to think of an Islamic government, they tend to think of something that's probably a little bit repressive towards women.
And we are gonna take our all youth and go to make a war with America or Israel. I believe so. Yeah. But
so yeah, please elaborate on what that would mean.
Yeah, what most important for us now, for Egyptians now, according to the Islamic regime, is making rules for everything. I mean, rules in economy, rules in working, and so on. In Islamic rules, first, all people has to be educated. This is number one in Islam. You have to be educated. You are a man, you are a woman, you are whatever. You have to be well educated. The next step is who has to work. In Islamic rules, men has to work. That's first. At the second class, women. If we need you, so you have to work. It's a must on you to work as a woman. This is for education and work. And it depends on everything else. Economy, education, What else?
So this goes back to the responsibility to help your community.
Exactly. 100%. It depends on that we need to go up. We are now deep down. There is no economy in Egypt now. Most of people can't find their food. So Islamic rules gonna take everyone in his right place.
Well, if I'm understanding, and Caitlin, you might be able to elaborate, because Caitlin, as a woman, I don't have the same perspective, but it sounds like both of the things you mentioned so far have to do with differences in rights between men and women. Is that fair, or
not rights? No, we are not talking about rights. We are talking about responsibilities. All has rights to be educated, but when we go to responsibilities, men have the whole responsibilities. They have to work first. And then, if you are not good enough to work as a man and I'm better than you, so I have to work, not you.
Oh.
With an example, so you are a doctor and I'm a doctor, and you're bad in your field. I'm better than you, so I have to work. You have to quit. This is Islamic rules.
Okay. Caitlin, do you have anything to...
No, I think it's very interesting, and I wanted to ask you about how do you think things like the niqab became so so associated with an Islamic government, and it seems to me that when leaders sort of use Islam to control their people, that doesn't seem very pure or religious to me. And I was wondering if you could, speak to that a little bit, about if you think the same thing, that people will try to manipulate religion to get people to do what they want.
Yeah, there is no rule in Islam. We are talking about Quran and Sunnah. We are not talking about people's thoughts. So in Islam, the government doesn't have the permission to force me to do something I don't want. Let's think as I'm a Christian, not a Muslim. The Muslim government can't force me to do something I don't want to do. I have my all rights in everything.
Right.
So they are not going to force me to wear something I don't like, but they are not going to allow me to go out with bikini.
Right.
So there is a balance between my rights and my responsibilities as a Christian one in Egypt.
Right.
You are going to go to the army just like the Muslim one. You are going to fight for this country with me. So no word means religion at this case. When you die, you're not a Christian or a Muslim. You're Egyptian.
Right.
So,
and as you were saying, like thinking if you were a Christian, I actually read the entire Quran about a year ago, and one of the things that stood out to me is, and correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but it said something along the lines of, love the Christians and the Jews and do not try to convert them, for their God is your God.
Exactly. It's allowed to Muslims to eat, drink, wear, live with Christians and Jewish as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as you said, ordered us to love them and not to force them to go to Islam or convert to Islam or something. Never, ever do that. Except they ask about information or something about that. At this case, we have normal people like me. I don't know really deep down in Islam rules, so I have to guide them to the right person who know better. I don't have the right to speak about that or tell them rules or whatever. Just guiding them to the right person to discuss it with them. So they are especially here in Egypt, we are one community. If you saw anything happened a month ago on the streets, no one will think in this dying man. We are not calling him dying man. In Islam, we call him shaheed. Even if we don't know he's Muslim or Christian. He's an Egyptian one, died for his rights. So we call him shaheed. It means he's 100% going to heaven.
Is that martyr? Is that martyr in English?
I don't know.
Okay.
My English is not that good. Yeah.
Your English is excellent, Walaa.
Thank you.
And you're a very good teacher. Okay, I think we might need to wrap it up, but it was very interesting, and if you would ever have time, we would love to talk to you more. Especially, we also have a Christian who we spoke to who was very frightened of having an Islamic government, and perhaps the two of you could talk about what that would mean. And I think something like that would be very interesting and very beneficial to our listeners.
Yes, sure. I'd love to. And I'm telling you, starting from now, this is the media rules. They did that. Actually, I love America so much, and let's stop here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
Love America. So thank you so much, Walaa, and we would love to talk to you another time if you have the time. And
sure, I will, inshallah.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Nice
I really enjoyed speaking with you.
Thank you. You too. Assalamu alaikum. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Caitlin is a student in Boston, Massachusetts. Chris is an attorney in Boston, Massachusetts. Walaa is an Arabic language teacher in Giza, Egypt. Music is by George Dimitri Sawa. This podcast was produced by Muslim Academy. Please visit www.muslimacademy.com for more podcasts and other resources about Muslim language, culture, and religion.